Hello, my name is Jeremy Koling, and I just want to say thank you for clicking on this video. For the next few minutes, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the most important experience I've ever had in my entire life. It is a story that will explain this wildly ridiculous stamp, and hopefully by the end of it, this whole project will mean as much to you as it does to me. The purpose of it is to inspire others to conquer their demons. We all have demons in our life that plague us, that hold us back, that give us just these terrible feelings, and they seem sometimes insurmountable. It seems like there's nothing in the world that can be done to mitigate these problems. And I felt that way for 32 years of my life. You see, I had the worst dental hygiene. It was really bad. You may have known if we were close, but if we weren't close, you probably didn't know, because I would smile like this. That's not me, man. That's not who I am. And so that affected me a lot. I had to put on a mask everywhere I went. And that insecurity affected, obviously, my relationships. It affected my disc golf game. It affected my friendships. I mean, it just really translated into every facet of my life that you could imagine. But we all have something. There's always something in our life that plagues us in some way. And it took a lot of help from friends and a lot of help from the courage of deciding that I was worth working on. When I realized that, I realized that I had the power to overcome any obstacle in the way. Obviously, dental work is really, really expensive, and I'm a professional disc golfer. I don't make a lot of money. For me, this was a decision in happiness and in having good mental health for the rest of my life. Once I fixed the dental side, I realized that I would be able to be who I am, who I want to be, who I truly am. And it seemed at times that if I can't even talk about this, if I won't even bring this up with my closest friends, how could I ever get past this? One day, it was in February 2017, I was sitting in my room, and one of my best friends in the world, Elise Hamilton Childress, comes knocking on the door. Yes, come in. Apparently, her and my sister had been plotting ways of talking to me about this because they cared so much about me behind my back. And Elise said, "Hey, today's the day. You're about to go on tour. Get some work done now, and when you come back from tour, you can get some more work done." And that very day, I went to the dental office, and I had my first appointment since I was in high school. It had been 15 years probably. And I got a lot of information because there was a lot to get done. And I left the appointment and I cried, and there was a lot of emotions felt because I knew that there was a long battle ahead. But that day was one of the most important days of my life. I proved to myself just by stepping through that door that I had the courage to overcome what seemed impossible just a week before that, a day before that. But with the help of her and so many other friends and 2 years of time and loans that I'll be paying back for the next decade, I was able to eventually get to a point where I could look into a mirror and see my teeth for the very first time without holes in my smile. And boy, oh boy, did I cry. It was a moment that I dreamt about for years. Before I even had any plans or plots of going in and working on myself, I would just have visions in my head of looking in the mirror and seeing a reflection of something beautiful. See, for me, the most beautiful thing in the world was a beautiful smile. And it's because most of my entire life I never thought I'd have one. And so I envied that. And people that took care of themselves, I knew at a certain point there was nothing that I could do anymore. I could never have that. And and I found out that I could. And once I started believing in that and started looking at all my options and realizing, you can be happy, you can live the life that you want to live, it just gave me so much inspiration. It gave me so much hope. And it changed my entire life. And so after posting that video on Instagram, where I shared that moment that meant so much to me, I've had just dozens, probably 100 people reach out to me and share their insecurities. Most of them dental hygiene related, because I've done everything you could imagine. Everything in the dental book, I've been there, I've done that. So if you have any questions, you can come talk to me. I would recommend going to your dentist, but I'll talk to you too. And it's been a source of pride that people have been able to see that I've been vulnerable with that and know that they can come and talk to me and share their stories. And then when I realized, man, like, this is really impacting others. I thought that it may impact some people, but I had no idea the level of that it would reach, the magnitude of its impact, which just blew me away. And I'm still getting stories. And this was from April 2019, and we're here in July 2020, and I'm still getting messages about, hey, that video meant the world to me. I went and got my work done. And I started the day after I saw that video. Boom. That's 5 minutes of crying right there for me. I mean, multiply that times 100 times. It's just been like, there's nothing more important in my entire life than not just me working on myself, but being a source of motivation for others. So I decided to take this story that is the most important thing that I think has ever happened in my life, and maybe the most important thing that could happen in other people's lives. And I wanted to make a stamp. I wanted to come up with something that would A, make you smile, and B, maybe just one person in the world would see the stamp, understand the backstory, and say, I've been putting this off for so long. I really don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to financially afford this. I don't know if I have the courage to do it. But today I'm going to do the first thing. Sorry. Just one person watches this video or gets one of these discs and decides to start working in the right direction for their life, this whole project will have been worth it. And I hope that you share those stories with me if it does. If this means something to you, let me know. Because there's no better compliment in the entire world that someone could give me than this thing meant something to me. Something that you did helped me change my life. I mean, that to me is the most important thing in the world. So I'll without further ado, I want to introduce the artist that I found that I knew was going to be the best guy in the world to help bring this story to life. And I reached out to this guy. I told him my story, and I said, hey man, I need a fresh set of eyes, a new perspective on this story. And I need this person to tell this story with me. I need someone to find a way to visualize what conquering your demons would look like. And so I found Marm, and I gave him the story, and he said, dude, let's do this. I want to introduce you to a new friend of mine and the artist for the stamp that we're eventually going to show you, Marm.
Hey, Jeremy. It's really nice to be working on this project with you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a couple months, a lot of phone calls, a lot of back and forths, but I'm really pleased with what we came out with, and it meant a lot to me that you were able to take this story and come up with your vision of what you thought the best way to tell this transformation.
Right. I'm really glad that you thought enough of my work to approach me about it, for starters, and then to open up to me and tell me your story. When you told me your story, I got really inspired by what you conquered and the steps you took and the obstacles that you overcame. And I'm hoping that the stamp that you and I came up with together will inspire other people to conquer their demons as well.
That's the ultimate goal. And if nothing else, hopefully people can smile. That's the main goal. I hope that it makes people happy, but if it actually goes that next step and maybe it gives somebody the motivation to start working on something that they need help with. I mean, that would, if it just does it for one person, that'll make all the work that we did totally worth it. So
Totally agreed.
I guess without any more let's not wasting more time. Let's get into the artwork and let's talk about how this stamp came to be.
So, Jeremy, very shortly after you relayed your story to me, I got really inspired and I had a lot of ideas coming up in my head. And those first 3 drawings that you saw there, I sketched those while I was waiting for an appointment.
Okay.
And then I showed those to you and we kind of had a direction. And we kind of finessed that direction. We massaged it into what you're looking at now.
So the original drawing of me in the middle with one finger up just wasn't quite, it didn't feel like Big Jerm to me. It felt like it was a man who conquered his demon and yay, but I wanted something that was a little more outrageous. And before long, we came with the concept of being inspired by, of all things, 90s romance novel covers.
Right.
Which we laughed about for probably 30 minutes straight.
Right.
And the idea of being a centaur with just long flowing hair and ripped abs was just hilarious.
Yeah, you provided the abs, but we did cheat on the hair a little. But the abs and the biceps, they're all there.
Yeah, that's why I keep the shirt on. I'm not trying to make people feel insecure about themselves. So we took the concept of being a centaur. We tried different hair, obviously, as you see here, and I really wanted to bring my girlfriend Jules, my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, and the most important person in my life as being a part of this. Not only because she was there for me throughout this whole process, but also because she is a metaphor for all the other people who were instrumental in helping me really take care of this. And she was there the whole time, and she was helping me battle my demons by just being there and being my rock. And
right. In this composition, she is not a bystander. She is actively helping you conquer all those demons.
Yeah. And so a little bit of symbolization that I don't think people would get if we didn't explain it, but there are 32 unique demons in this, and 32 is important because it represents the number of teeth in a mouth. But we got to the point where we decided we liked the composition, and it was time for the inking phase.
Right, and it was fun making the 32 different character designs for the different demons, because basically what I did was I took 32 things that people could be insecure about and tried to personify them into the different demons. And so if you want to spend the time and look into the stamp, you can look around and see, well, yeah, there's one with some ugly, janky teeth. Yeah, that's in there. There's also one with like big ears and one with big feet and one that looks like it might stink. I mean, I put a lot of stuff in there.
I love it. So we were both inspired by graffiti art, and we're both inspired by designs that make you really like bring you in. And we really looked at a lot of different pieces from a lot of different artists, and we kind of said, I like this style, I like that style. So we kind of just try to come up with our own thing, but sharing inspiration from different artists and different pieces that made you really get involved by really looking at the stamp.
Right.
And there's the Charlotte skyline, which I really wanted to be a part of the story as well. Obviously, born in Charlotte, and lived in North Carolina my whole life in different places, but Charlotte's been my home for all of my life. And it's where I started playing disc golf.
There's the pew pew pew.
Pew pew pew. You gotta love the pew 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 finger lasers. That's so ridiculous. So we took these photos from Marm because this is your favorite part of illustrating. Am I right?
What's that?
Faces. Doing faces. Isn't that your reward for doing everything else?
Right. Yeah. So I do all the stuff that I don't like to do first, so that I can focus on the faces later. That's my reward for getting all the other stuff done first.
Oh, I love Jules and I had a lot of fun doing this little photo session in our backyard. we basically knew once we took these two pictures that they were perfect for the scenario, and we had a couple different issues with the teeth. This is lifelike the way it's drawn now, but it doesn't quite express how bright I felt like my smile is, and giving it a little bit of the teeth glimmer, if you will. There,
right?
Weren't quite settled. There we go.
Yeah.
So we took out the line. Now it's bright and beautiful.
And that was a technical decision, because if with that line in between the teeth, you ran the risk of bridging the foil across, and then it would look like you had a huge gap, which is completely not the reason we wanted to do this in the first place.
And so we have finally come to the final of the big Jerm, the Conqueror stamp, or the Conqueror, if you will. And wouldn't you know it, I've got one of those stamps right here. And there it is in all its glory. And we're so excited to have the stamp out. I couldn't be happier with the way that the art came out. These are going to be available on DGU. Right now we've got 4 models. Hopefully there'll be more made in the future, depending on the success of this run. But it's a limited run. So if you have someone that it's in your mind, that they need some help, get them one of these. Tell them a story. Tell them to watch this video. I know it's long, but I appreciate you watching it. The 4 molds, real quick. We have Star AVR X3. We've got flat top luster Firebirds. We've got Champion Rock 3s that are clear, and some of them have some smoke and some swirly smoke coloration in it, and they're really sweet. And then maybe my favorite are these white luster Thunderbirds, which we are calling, and they're all white, they're all lustery, they're all pearly. Of course, we're naturally calling them the pearly whites. Those are all going to be available. But go ahead and order these quick, man. I really foresee these selling out very soon. I hope they do. I think that it's just a slam dunk. It's a grand slam. And it makes me happy to see. It really is like the perfect way to surmise this journey by me being a ripped centaur with long flowing braids and Jules with her sword out fighting a bunch of demons. What could tell a story better? But it's hopefully you'll find it as fun as I do. Marm, you just did a great job. Thank you again so much, buddy.
Well, thanks. I mean, you made the whole process very enjoyable. So it turned out well, but I think that it was easy to do because you are who you are.
Well, I appreciate that very much. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Go ahead, try to get these as soon as you can. And if these sell it quick, I'm sure we'll be able to talk DGU into doing another run. So for now, thank you so much. I'm Big Jerm, signing off from Marm. We'll catch you guys next time.